Okay, so you're going to Aswan and Abu Simbel and you're looking for an itinerary. So stick around, watch this video and I'll give you my 3-day itinerary with tips for each day to improve your experience. Hi, I'm Ken and welcome to Addy's Adventures, where you get to go on a journey, one step at a time. Alright, let's get on with today's video. Alright, so I took the overnight sleeper train from Cairo to Aswan, arriving in Aswan at 8 a.m. in the morning. My tip for this trip is, whatever you do, don't eat the food on the train. Bring your own. I had organised a driver for the first 2 days only, and you'll see why later on. So whether you arrive by plane or train, pretty much the first day you should try and immerse yourself in the culture a little bit, particularly the Nubian culture, which is quite different from the bustling streets of Cairo. Alright, so day one, let's look at it. My driver took me from the train station at AM to my guest house on the other side of the Nile, in the Nubian village, where I'll spend one night. I will say it's not an area where a lot of people will stay. They tend to stay more on the other side of the Nile or on Elephantine Island. When I booked this accommodation in the guest house, it looked pretty okay, didn't look anything unusual. I've stayed in guest houses before and found them quite good, particularly if you want to immerse yourself a little bit with the local family. What I did realise was when I get there, it wasn't just a guest house, I was actually a guest in a house. So basically I just had a room upstairs. In the house there was the grandparents, the parents and the grandchildren, probably about 10 or more of us, and it was a great experience. I shared a bathroom, we shared a meal, it was great. Only the younger ones sort of spoke English. The grandparents and the parents not pretty much no English, but it was great. It was a great experience, and it was just for the day and overnight, so I really enjoyed it. So that day I spent walking around the village, talking to locals, just enjoying the ambience of the area, having lunch and a bit of souvenir shopping. What I will say, this area of the village, it's really not a place where people stay. What happens is boats or feluccas bring tourists across to this village. There's souvenir, there's shopping there, there's trinkets. You can get a camel ride, you can go for a walk. There's a crocodile house with some people. They have a crocodile in their house, which is not unusual for the Nubian people. So yeah, it's not a place normally to stay, but definitely a great place to visit. But in the afternoon, everyone had left, so it was basically me and the local villagers, and it was really great. I took an hour sunset ride in a boat on the Nile, and it was, I think, $3 for the hour. After that, I was offered dinner down by the water by another family, and we had a bit of grilled chicken with chips and some salad. It really was a great day, and after that I got an early night. My tip for that is, give yourself that first day just to immerse yourself in the culture of Aswan. It is a lot different to Cairo and the north of Egypt. So let's get on to day two. So day two is going to be a fairly busy day. My driver picked me up early in the morning from accommodation and took me to the dock where the boats for Philae Temple leave from. I spent a couple of minutes haggling with the boat driver, then a price was agreed on. From memory, the price was around $10 Australian. And what it is, it's about a 10 to 15 minute boat ride across to the island. And that driver, he'll actually wait there for you. So it's a really good price. If you're there for a couple of hours, then when you finish, he'll just run you back over to the dock where you embark from. If you like, give him a bit of a tip. When you get the dock, you'll notice this area, as with most tourist areas in Egypt, there's a lot of touts, hagglers, they're selling souvenirs, etc. Pretty standard for a tourist area. I got 3 tips for this for Philae Temple. Do Philae Temple first thing in the morning. It's open at 7 a.m. and I got over there and there's no crowds. When you hire a boat on your own. It may seem good to share with other people and cut the cost down, but it is really cheap. And the other thing, if you go with other people, you're at their whim. When they want to come back, you have to come back with them. Or you will have to haggle with the boat driver that's over there to get a seat on another boat. And this is when it can get a little bit more expensive. My tip, just hire your own boat. It's not expensive. Also, Tip 3. On the way back, ask your boat driver to take you to the old submerged gate. This is an original entrance to the Philae Temple before it was flooded. My driver then took me to the Nubian Museum, which at the time the air conditioner was broken down and it was absolutely stifling inside. But it's definitely worth a visit. A good hour in there should probably be enough, I would say. My tip there is check that the aircon's working when you get in. After that, we went to the Unfinished Obelisk in the quarries of Aswan. This is definitely a sight you don't want to miss. Have a look at the 120-ton obelisk that Queen Hatshepsut was having carved when it developed a crack and then was abandoned. While there you can see were other obelisks, some that are in Rome, some that are in England, and some that are in Istanbul, have been carved out and removed from. It's very interesting to see this, and this quarry is right in the middle of Aswan. My tip here, see one of the touts or one of the so-called guardians that you see wandering around there, and he'll offer, probably anyway, to show you how the obelisk is carved and the different stones they use that would actually carve through the granite. Really interesting. Probably if he gives you a good 15-20 minute experience there, give him a bit of a tip. After the quarry, I went to my hotel and checked in for the next 2 nights. Now that concluded day 2. All right, day 3. Okay, day 3, I don't need a driver as I'm flying to Abu Simbel. I just get a taxi to the airport for the 40-minute flight down to Abu Simbel. Now, I want to go into this a little bit more detail, as there are 2 options you can go to Abu Simbel from Aswan. One is you can fly there, and the second one is you can go by bus or car on a tour. So let's start with option 1, the bus car tour. It takes around 4 to 5 hours from Aswan to Abu Simbel, with a stop along the way. It makes it about an 8 to 10 hour round trip, a couple of hours at the temple, and you're looking at a very long day. How it works is all the tour groups line up outside Aswan at around 4:30 a.m. in the morning, and on the road, then the road is open down to Abu Simbel. The road is only open between 5 a.m. and 5 p.m, so there's a fair conga line of vehicles leaving all at once, buses, trucks, cars, etc. Option 2. Egypt Air offers 2 return flights per day, usually one in the morning and one in the afternoon, with around 3 hours at Abu Simbel before you return. How it works is very simple. You get 2 boarding passes when you check in at Aswan, and then you fly down to Abu Simbel for a 40-minute flight down over Lake Nassau. It's quite interesting. When you get there, there's a bus waiting outside the terminal. If you continue through to the exit and walk out, you'll see a bus there to take you from the airport to the ticket office museum at no charge. It's only about a 10-minute bus ride. When you get there, the driver will tell you what time the bus leaves for the return trip back to the airport. It's usually around 3 I think it was around 3 hours. So you spend around 3 hours there looking at the temple, the lake. There's in the museum, there's a video there, display of how they move the temple, and it's really worth a good look at. There's refreshments, there's food, so it's quite a pleasant area to be. Once you finish, you board the bus for the 10-minute ride back to the airport for your flight back to Aswan. You already have your return boarding pass, so it's quite a quick process. Basic, just walk in, line up, scan, and onto the aircraft. So I had an 8:30 a.m. flight in the morning. I was back in Aswan around 2:30 that afternoon. Check the flight times because they can change depending on the season. Taxi back to the hotel, had a swim in the pool and dinner by the Nile, all nice and relaxed. I then, after dinner, went for a wander into the souk and did a little bit of shopping. My tip for day 3 is definitely take the flight to Abu Simbel. It's not that expensive, it's quick and it's easy, but once again, just check your flight times. That concludes my 3-day itinerary for Aswan and Abu Simbel. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I hope you found this video interesting. If you liked it, please click on the like button. Think of subscribing and click the notification button for more content. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers.